Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head to Poland, and this is a beer that was very kindly given to me by my flatmate's boyfriend. So a big thank you to Carl for bringing this beer over to Sweden from Poland with him. Should be really interesting to try actually. This one will be part of a Polish beer month that I have planned for later in the year, but I'm filming this review for you in January. So for this one we're going to go to Browar Jan Olbracht Rzemieślniczy or something like that. I'm not sure how to pronounce that correctly, but we'll call it Browar Olbracht for the purposes of the video. And this one is their APA. It's a Christmas APA. It comes in at 5.6% and it's called Powrót Króla. So should be quite an interesting beer actually. Really looking forward to trying this one. So anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual websites are in the video description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Browar Olbracht. There's all the usual social media, and if you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. I apologise to those of you watching in Poland for any bad Polish pronunciations. For a non-native speaker, trying to pronounce Polish is just absolutely crazy. Even the Polish people say that. So I apologise for butchering your language, but please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review from Poland. And I hope that you're enjoying the Polish series of beers that you will be seeing when this video airs. So anyway, to say about Browar Olbracht. So like I said, Browar Olbracht is based in a city called Torún in Poland. It's a city of about 200,000 people, and it's on the Vistula River in the Kujowian-Pomeranian Voivodeship in northern Poland. The closest bigger city is Bydgoszcz, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is kind of almost just directly to the south of Gdansk and Gdynia on the north coast of Poland. But the town apparently had a rich brewing heritage that goes all the way back to the 13th century. But the brewery is named after Jan Olbracht, who was born in December 1459 in Krakow, and he was the son of Casimir and Elizabeth Rakoczyszanska, who were part of the Habsburg dynasty, who of course were many of the European royal families. But he was quite popular in Torún, having stayed there many times during his life. But the actual brewery itself is located about 50 metres from the old town square in an old Gothic building, and they sell a lot of kind of Polish food, but they mix in a little bit of Bavarian as well, and they do have some beers that are brewed on site, but most of their bottled beers are actually brewed in Piotrków, which is to the south of Łódź, which again is a little bit south. I think it's to the southwest of Warsaw, if I remember correctly. There's quite a few breweries brewing this facility in Piotrków. There seems to be a few kind of hubs of brewing when it comes to Poland from what I hear. I need to have a look more into that when I'm filming the other beers for you, but I've heard that there's some big massive breweries in Poland that contract brew for a lot of different people, so I'm sure we'll find out more about that when I'm filming the other reviews for you. But anyway, that's enough about Browar Jan Olbracht for the moment. Hopefully I can review more of their beers in the future, and when I do make it to Poland, maybe I can go to Torún and actually have a look at the brewery itself. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about the beer itself, this one is a 5.6% American Pale Ale. It's hopped with Chinook, Citra, Simcoe, Centennial, Cascade and Zeus hops, and it's got a malt base of Pale Ale, Pilsner, Carahel and Chateau Biscuit malt as well. So it should be quite a nice one for us to have a look at. This one is best before the 17th of January 2016, and I'm filming this one for you on the 10th of January 2016. So it's got a few days left on its sell-by date, so it should be alright. I can't envisage any problems with this one, but I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open it up. So yeah, as you can see, really quite a funny piece of artwork there. You can see Santa's treating himself after a hard night on Christmas Eve, or the 20th. I think in Poland they do Christmas on the 24th of December, whereas back home in Scotland we always did it on the 25th. But you can see there is the Jan Olbracht on the bottle cap of this one. You can see best before the 17th of January 2016. Jan Olbracht on the side. Tells you the ingredients here on the side, which I think is water, hops, and yeast and things. So yeah, should be quite nice. Original gravity 12.6%, half-litre bottle, as you may have guessed by the side. But it should be really nice. Let's get this guy open and we'll go on with the tasting then. Once again, thank you to Carl for bringing this beer to Sweden from Poland for me. So yeah, as you can see, a nice smoky opening on this one. There was a little bit of sediment visible in the bottle in this. And when you're pouring this beer, you can smell some of these fruity characters coming off it. We'll leave it at that for the moment. That's about 3/4 of the beer poured. We can put the rest in a little bit later on. But yeah, as you can see, this beer is poured a really nice, if I hold it up to the light, you can see it's a nice orangey amber colour. There's a lot of little sediment particles floating around in this one. So it should be quite nice. I actually have to admit, I do like it when beer has a little bit of sediment in it. So you can see, if I put my fingers behind this beer, there is a degree of transparency to it. I think it's fair to describe this beer as a sort of, almost a kind of blood orange amber. There's a half finger of a frothy white head on this, some little bubbles, carbonation bubbles going up towards the bottom of the glass there, some bigger ones sticking towards the side, and quite a few little sediment particles just floating around. So let's have a look at the aroma on this beer then. Oh yeah, you can smell, this is a really interesting aroma, this one. You've got a nice mix of fruity hoppy character in this. There's a bit of there's a bit of an orangey citrus coming out of this one for me, but you can pick up the passion fruit and the grapefruit from the Cascade hop in this. There's a bit of floral aromaticity too, but it's the malt base that's kind of sticking out for me. You can pick up the nice biscuity caramel notes coming out of this. It's actually quite grainy, to be honest. You can smell just a teeny bit of skunk actually in this one, but it should be okay. I would think it's still in its sell by date when I'm trying this beer. But yeah, you can smell a little bit of that biscuity kind of grainy malt in this one. Yeah, there's a bit of bready malt base in there, some sweet caramel, a little bit of biscuits, and as I say, I can just pick up a little teeny bit of skunk in this one, but it should be okay. Like I say, the beer has been kept in the dark, it's been kept at the right temperature, and it's within its sell by date, so it should be fine. So yeah, take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one before you get stuck in. Some nice tropical fruit notes, grapefruit and passion fruit in there. You've got some floral aromaticity, a bit of orangey citrus I should point out too. Some floral aromaticity, a little bit of German noble hop. The Zeus, of course, from what I remember, is a German hop, and it's got a nice big floral, kind of spicy aromatic character to that. You can definitely pick that out in here, and there's just a little touch of earthiness from that German noble hop character, some lighter grassy notes as well. So without further ado then, let's get stuck into this beer and see how we get on. So this one is the Powrót Króla from Browar Jan Olbracht in Torún in Poland. Skål! Na zdrowie, they would say in Poland. Yeah, it's quite nice actually. It's got a mix between the American Pale Ale and the English Pale Ale a little bit. You can pick out just the different elements of both in this beer. As I always say, sugar the beer around your palate a little bit before you start to dissect the flavour too much. We'll just get the rest of the beer out and into the glass. But that is quite an interesting one. I always like these beers that can kind of give you a bit of the New World style and some of the Old World style too, and you can definitely pick up some English Pale Ale elements to this beer and also some of the American Pale Ale notes as well. From what I hear, the standard of Polish craft beer is very good, and as I say, I'm sure I'll find out when it comes to doing this Polish series of beers that I want to do. But yeah, that's nice. That's a good beer. And Poland, of course, I've heard this. The standard of Polish beer is supposed to be very high, so I'm really glad that I'm getting to try some of these for you actually. This is the first Polish kind of craft beer that I've drunk actually. So yeah, the middle of the palate in this one, you've got this blanket of a white bready character, and on top of that you get more of the kind of biscuity, corn syrupy flavours, that little bit of grainy character, and some nice kind of richer caramel sweetness coming out of the beer. It's nicely done. Yeah, but with this being an American Pale Ale, as you would expect, the focus is definitely more on the hops, but I have to admit I do enjoy it when a beer can bring out these nice kind of hoppy characters so well. So yeah, at the back corners of the palate there's a little bit of earthiness there. You can pick that up. For me, that's probably a little bit of the Zeus hop coming out. It's noble hop character. As you come further forward, you get that floral aromatic character coming out of this one. And if you've got Centennial and you've got Simcoe and you've got Cascade in there, you will get a good bit of floral aromaticity from those as well. But the Zeus hop gives you that nice floral German noble hop character note in this beer, and you can really detect that on the sides of the tongue. As you go around the front curve of the palate, there's a nice kind of grassy smoothness to the beer as well. Yeah, this is a really nice beer actually, I have to say that. I'm quite impressed with this one. It's a good balance between the English pale ale styles and the American pale ale styles. It's got a little bit of both, the stronger malty and slightly earthier notes from the English pale ale, but some of the fruitier characteristics of the American hops. So just behind the front curve of the tongue, that's where some of these fruity characters come out. It's actually a little bit light and a little bit juicy, which is kind of what you want from a pale ale. You don't want the fruit oils to be all that prominent. You want it just to be a little bit lighter. So just in that little oily bubble behind the front of the tongue, there's some passion fruit in there, a little bit of grapefruit, not too prominent like I say. There's maybe a tiny little bit of orange citrus too, but overall it's quite light, and it just gives you a little bit of fruitiness going into the aftertaste. The real lingering flavours in this beer are the grassy, the sort of floral grassy characters, and also some of these kind of there's a little bit of that malty base just sitting there, some of the kind of grainy biscuity caramel there, and also some of that breadiness too. But overall, this is quite a nice beer. I don't understand why it was rated so kind of low on Rate Beer. I think, you know, probably Rate Beer is an American dominated site, but quite a few of the reviews that I saw on this beer were in Polish actually, so maybe it's just not as good as some of the other Polish beers that you'll come across from what Polish people say. But I think this beer is pretty good, and I've heard that Poland does have a good kind of regional beer scene as well as a very, very strong craft beer scene. So like I say, hopefully when this Polish beer series happens later in the year, we can think about that a little bit more. But this is, for me, this is a pretty interesting beer. Mixes both sides of the English pale ale style and the American pale ale, and I guess this one is probably not quite a craft beer as such, but maybe it's a kind of regional beer or something like that. But for me, it's quite nice and quite enjoyable. So in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I think it's fair to say it's mid-bodied. The carbonation is pretty moderate, I would say. There's a good balance between the malty sweetness. There's the little earthy character where the hops builds a good bridge between the grainy side of the malt base and the hoppy side of things. In the aftertaste you get a little bit more dry and hoppy character, and there is a little bit of fruity juiciness as well. But overall, it kind of has everything you would expect from an American pale ale or a pale ale. It's got a good balance between the American side of things and the English side of things, and for me, it's, you know, it's quite a nice sessionable beer. So I would recommend that you try it for yourself. I think it might only be a Christmas seasonal, as I'm guessing by the artwork on this one. But yeah, it's been really cool to do a first kind of craft beer review from Poland. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'm sure when I actually put this one in as part of the Polish beer series, you'll have probably seen a few more, but I hope you've enjoyed this beer review nonetheless. And as always, do let me know your own thoughts on this beer and the brewery in the comment section below. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff, and I will catch you soon with more Polish beers. Slange just now, Nastrovia, and I will catch you later. Cheers. Make sure you go and check out Browar Olbracht from Torún in Poland. Cheers.